Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Rashawn right here. So, a guy named True Brexit Geezer, aka Lazada, he was like, "Hey, Rashawn, I want to see you in that suit with that tie you were putting around in the last video." So, right now we looking dapper. Obviously, we got the suit on. No guts, obviously, but we looking dapper, looking good. And the tie's a little off, but I don't really give a damn. But anyway, today we're going to talk about blood work, all right? We're going to go over my blood work, the ketogenic blood work. I don't think I'm really on the keto diet because I have a bit more carbs than I need, or a bit more carbs than the threshold, whatever it is. But whenever you get on the ketogenic diets, sometimes there'll be some numbers on your blood work that'll be a bit off. But you got to take it in the context, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Because the keto diet is high fat, right? And when you eat more fat, your LDL cholesterol is going to go higher. Just what it be. I mean, I think saturated fat does that really, but that's just what it be. This is why you have to know what these numbers mean when you go get blood work. Because if you are on the keto diet, you're feeling good and all this shit like I am, are you going to be a pussy and let your doctor tell you what you're supposed to be doing, especially when you know what the numbers mean possibly better than them? All right, so let's go over these numbers a little bit here. So the first one we have is total cholesterol. This is dumb. Throw it out the window because the reference range is below 200. Right? Let's say your HDL is 100 and your LDL is 119. Then it would be 219. That is above the 200 threshold. But let's say, as they call HDL the good cholesterol, let's say your HDL is 50 and your LDL is 119. That's 169. That's below the reference range. So if you have a doctor that's stupid, they'll look at your total cholesterol despite the fact that your HDL is higher and be like, "Oh, your total cholesterol is too high. We're going to put you on some meds." Then that's a dumb metric. You can't put good with bad, add them together, and have a metric where if it's high enough, it's bad. Stupid. Throw it out the window. Anyway, next we have HDL cholesterol. Obviously, mine is 83. Fucking great. Obviously, and it is made between meals, right? So if you're doing this all day, snacking, eating shit every 1 to 2 hours, cupcakes, cake, fruit juice, and all this other bullshit, cookies, then more than likely your HDL will be lower. Now, they call this the good cholesterol, but it doesn't really tell you what it does. So what it basically does, it does reverse cholesterol transport, right? Made by the liver, goes out into the arteries, right? And it scavenges all of the harmful cholesterol that may be in the arteries already, right? It scavenges it. It goes on a bear hunt. Gets all the harmful cholesterol out of the arteries and brings it back to the liver for metabolization. That sounds good, doesn't it? So have that number high. All right, next is triglycerides, all right? That's basically the amount of fat in your blood. But, there's a bit of confusion when it comes to fat, huh? Because obviously when you finish all your meals and all that, especially when you eat all them excess carbs and all that, all right, it has to go somewhere, right? You probably didn't burn them. But if you have excess, then that ends up in your bloodstream. Mine is 28, very low. There's also a metric that can be an indirect marker for, arterial health. You do your triglycerides and divide that by your HDL. And I've seen some conflicting things about this, but if your ratio is below 2.5 or below 1.5, then you are likely Gucci. Now, if you take mine, 28 divided by 83 is 1/3, 0.33 almost. So I'm fucking bouse. All right, let's get to the LDL cholesterol, okay? Look at that, 165. Oh, Heart attack! Oh. Bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. That is complete bullshit. So when it comes to LDL, all right, this is what LDL does. So when you have them excess sugars, eating fruit juice, Jello, all this other bullshit. I can't think of sugary stuff right now. But that damages the blood vessels. And what comes in to patch the wound up in your blood vessels are two things, ladies and gentlemen. Two things. LDL patches it up, and calcium patches it up. Those two things patch up wounds in your blood vessels. So, why is LDL the problem if it's just the firemen? It is the firemen coming in to patch up the injuries in your blood vessels. It is not the cause of the injury. And here's a analogy, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's say we're on the streets and there's an area that needs cement. You're going to patch up that cement, or you're going to patch up that sidewalk, no matter if you have this much cement or if you have this much cement. Okay? The cement truck will use as much cement that is needed to patch up that block of sidewalk. So it doesn't matter whether or not your LDL is 80 or if it's 165. Your body will use as much cement or LDL cholesterol that it can to patch up that vascular injury. Okay? So that is what it be. And this number tells nothing. Because there are two types of LDL, ladies and gentlemen. There's small dense. Call this small dense. These can actually fit into the crevices of your blood vessels and cause plaques. Small dense LDL. And we have large buoyant LDL. This is most of your LDL, or it should be most of your LDL. These cannot fit into the crevices in your blood vessels. And these are normal use LDL, which transport lipids and fats to wherever it's supposed to go for fuel. So, if you see your LDL in red, like it is right there, it means nothing. In fact, the number means nothing. You have to get as a advanced lipid profile, something of the sort, comprehensive metabolic profile, or some sheet like that, to tell you the breakdown of large buoyant and small dense LDL. So when I see 165 right there, the next time I do blood work, I expect it to go higher, and I want it to go higher. Anyway, let's go to the next ones I want to talk about here. So we're going to put these in unison: glucose and sodium, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, when you look at this sodium number, 138 millimoles per liter, right? That's not really important, but you see the reference range here, right? Your body is very finicky about sodium. Your body wants sodium and will try as hard as it can. Like a CS joke try-hard player, it'll try as hard as it can to keep it in this range. And as I said in the hemorrhoid video, your body is very good at excreting excess sodium. Very good. But, as you see there, glucose, 88, pretty damn good, I would say. But your body has a harder time of excreting excess glucose, right? Now, theoretically, because there's a lot of diabetes in America, right? If sugar metabolism was the same or similar has salt metabolism in the body, we wouldn't need a pancreas. Excuse me, we would not need a pancreas. We would not need insulin, right? And you talk about the phrase insulin resistance all the time, especially if you're fat as fuck, right? Insulin wouldn't be needed if sugar was excreted like salt was. Because as I said, salt easily out either through your sweat, pissing it away, or pooping it. Very easy for the body to get rid of salt. And you see this shit about, oh, salt holds on to water, and that can be a huge problem. Okay? But sugar is even better at holding on to water. It's even better at it. And how many grams of sugar does the average American eat compared to the amount of grams of salt? All right? On a good day, you may, especially if you're a ketogenic dude, on a good day, you're going to eat like 6 grams of salt, of which I guess 45% of that is sodium. Be 2,500 probably. Whereas the standard American guy is just eating grams and grams and grams and grams of salt. You know what I mean? Stupid. Don't blame salt for what the sugar did. Anyway, few more here. So we have these are two I've got a kind of a wonder about. We have the urea nitrogen BUN, the BUN, and the creatinine. So these are under normal ranges, right? 22 is fine apparently. My creatinine is 1.14. And I think it's a lot higher when you eat a lot of protein. Now, I think I eat a lot of protein, but I mean, again, look at me. Skinny as a motherfucker. So where's that protein going? So especially, it says 1.14 is normal, but it may be a bit high, you know. And this is basically me wasting protein. Right? I remember when I had the hemorrhoids bad for a few months, right? Didn't go to the gym, didn't really exercise all that much, but I was still eating a lot of protein. Right? And at the end of the day, blah, 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 any unused protein just comes out, right? Body can't really store protein like that unless it fills up the muscle, glycogen, whatever the fuck it is. And then the rest just to go out, right? And your kidneys got to deal with that. So these numbers, I think, are a reflection of me wasting protein, which hopefully I'll get better at. But my other kidney marker there, the filtration rate, pretty good. 89, I'll take that. That's pretty damn good. Next one's here, AST and ALT. So you see these are very high. Now, I don't really know 100% why they're high. Now, it could be to do with me wasting protein. At this time, I was trying to get into fat adaptation because as a guy who ate low fat his entire life, right, takes some time to be able to digest fats. And again, TMI, right, when I started the ketogenic diet, loaded the fat up, right, my stool would float, which means I wasn't digesting the fat very well, right? Now, this was in late or early November or late November, right? Even though I was still on keto for 3.5 months. So I'm not too sure why these numbers are high. And as you can see, the ALT is high, which means it's definitely a liver localized problem. So next time I do blood work, I expect these to go down. But if it goes up, we'll see. I ain't worried about it. Ain't worried about the thing. Next, my vitamin D. Now, this could be another reason why my ALT is high. Who knows? But my vitamin D is high. Now, obviously with the COVID scare and all that, you gotta, they're always saying, get that vitamin D in, right? Vitamin D, vitamin K2, right? Synergize together and all that. But now my vitamin D is too high, apparently, right? But at least I won't get COVID. So I've stopped supplementing with vitamin D. And Next time, I'm sure it'll go down. Next one, apolipoprotein B. Now, this one is high, and they say if this is high, then you've got a risk for heart disease. Now, I'm not too sure what to make of this one, right? I read some sheet like the ApoA1 to ApoB ratio is what you're trying to look for, right, with this. And I didn't test for ApoA1, so if my ApoA1 is high, then it can counteract the apolipoprotein B. I also heard that this number is based on the affinity for LDL to spot and patch up a vascular injury. And when you take it in that context, the affinity for does not mean, I'm not too sure to finish the sentence, but we'll see what this is. Now, I'm not too sure it's a marker, but who fucking knows? But yeah, that is it. We've gone through everything, obviously. So, again, if you ever go on a diet, blah, 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 make sure you know what these numbers mean, all right? Because you cannot go blindly to your doctor, have them see your blood work and be like, oh, Jimmy, your LDL is 200. We gotta put you on medication. And then you're sitting there like, okay, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden, you're taking these medications, popping these pills, and they may make you feel like shit. And then when they make you feel like shit, right, you will want to get some satisfaction. What you're going to do? What are you going to do? Fill your mouth with all these snacks, cookies, fake protein bars, and soybean oil. So, take control of your own shit. This is Rashawn. See you next time.